What is up, you guys? Happy Thursday. This is Tara, and I have a special guest today.
Boom.
My better half, Daniel Ludovici. So we just wanted to come live. We are going to do a 4-week series just talking about nutrition and weight loss. We have several of our thrivers who were asking for some information. So we're just going to share a little bit of our knowledge and hopefully answer some of your questions. So just a quick recap. We talked last week about just the basics of getting started, making your commitment to your weight loss journey, getting rid of any distractions or any challenges, any setbacks that you have typically that have kept you from reaching your goals. And we also talked about you guys tracking your food. So hopefully everybody has downloaded the MyFitnessPal app. That's the one we use. We love it. You can, I'm sure there are tons of other apps that you can use, but hopefully you've been tracking that so you have a good idea of what you've been eating so far, like what your baseline calorie count is and just where you're at. So that's going to be really important. So we're going to talk today about eating for fuel. Food is for fuel. We can get a little carried away. I think America's gotten really bad at just eating for taste and pleasure. And it's like people reach for it for stress or whatever. So we're going to give you some ideas on different things that you can eat, the timing of your food, and exactly like a good breakdown on macros. So Daniel here, if you guys do not know him, he's done several bodybuilding competitions. He's been on his weight loss and fitness journey, bodybuilding journey for years. And so he's learned a lot along the way, and he has helped me because I'm stubborn and I tried to do everything by myself. And so he's going to share some information too. So first and foremost, we want to talk about macros, because not every calories are not created equal. You cannot just say, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories a day because I was eating 1,500. Now I'm just going to eat 1,200 calories and I'm going to lose weight. Food works so differently in your body. It affects your hormones. It affects your metabolism. There's so much more to just calorie counting. So we want to erase that from your brain. Don't just think about calories, because an Oreo and a head of lettuce are not created equal. Okay. Although we'd like them to be, but they're not. Okay, so Daniel, why don't you tell everybody like macros? What exactly are macros?
So a macro is going to be the calories broken into what they are. So it's going to be your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. So are the most basic fundamental ones. I always like to include sugar in there because it tends to be one of the most crucial macros that can make or break our goals. So that's what a macro is. So when you hear over and over reading in literature, you know, macro this, macro that, what's your macro? All that is the breakdown of the calories, your protein, fats, carbs. And it's important to know what they are because like Tara said, they're not all created equal. If you were to eat, let's see, say 50 grams of fat, your calories are going to be,
way more than,
hypothetically, going to be 600 calories. And you had 50 grams of protein, it's only going to be hypothetically 300 calories. So there's an example of why they're not created equal.
Yeah. And so how he got that number, protein and carbs, for every gram, they equal 4 calories. So for every 1 gram of protein, that's 4 calories. For every 1 gram of carb, that's 4 calories. For every 1 gram of fat, that's 9 calories. So a little bit more than protein and carbs. So this is where it's really important to divide up your meal plan into healthy protein, healthy carbs, and healthy fats, so that all of them are working together to fuel your body, to give you the energy that you need, so that you're not, eating too much and now your body's just storing all of the intake. Sean's funny, said, look at that good looking bald guy. And you guys, I didn't say this. Tell us if you are watching live, tell us where you're watching from. We have a lot of friends here in the US, but a lot of our Australian team and friends in New Zealand and just all around. So I always love to see where everybody's watching from. Okay. So let's talk about how, Daniel, when you first got started, how did you set up your macro plan? So I know everybody that's using MyFitnessPal, You go in there and it's going to ask you your age, your weight, like all those things, and try to help you calculate a plan. But that's not always the best thing, depending on what your goals are. So do you have is there an exact like starting point for everybody as far as what percentage should they be focused on protein, what percentage carbs, and what percentage fats? Or is it depending on the person?
Well, kind of, and that's the kind of the thing with this, but because everyone's a little bit different, lifestyles, genetics. But so what I would say, number one, is that Tara, I believe you told me you talked about last week. Number one is seeing where you're at now.
Yes.
So that's why she said, to start logging your calories, regardless of what it is, because we want to know, you want to know, what is your intake right now? And so think about it this way: what is my intake right now that's leading to, say, a pound of fat storage, a week or every 2 weeks, whatever it may be. But it's important to know where you're at now, so we know what to change. So, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. But so, for example, if your daily intake was 2-3 meals and 3,200 calories a day, what I would suggest in the beginning is it's never this rash, radical, harsh change. That is never good. I don't care what your goals are.
It's not attainable or not sustainable. You can't do that forever.
Well, and it not necessarily even mentally, but the body can only pull, say, from so much. It can only do so many things. So it's important to know where you're at as an average now, so we know what to start pulling away from moving forward to actually start the weight loss journey. So again, for example, if you ate, 2-3 meals a day and your average intake was 3,200 calories, what I would suggest, number one, after this, we'll talk about what foods to bring in. But all we have to do is pull 300 calories at a time. The body will adjust rapidly. It doesn't sound like much. It will pull rapidly, and it will notice that change and start triggering fat storage for fuel. But now, saying that, you can see the importance of doing it the other way around. You're like, so I ate 3,200 calories today, but I'm going to have, whatever kind of snack, or I'm going to go out and say one day you go out to eat and you eat, an extra 500-700 calories just in restaurant foods, because that's what will happen. You can see the difference. As we're pulling it away, we get fat loss. Even if we were to eat 500 to 700 calories every day more, we're going to tend to store it as fat. So
exactly. So your bodies need a certain amount every day just to burn, just to live, just to eat, just to walk, sleep, breathe, whatever you're doing. Your body's already going to burn a certain amount of calories every single day. So I know for me, when I got started, I think I had a pretty basic plan. It was like 30% was my protein, 40% was my carbs, and 30% was my fats. And that's how I had it divided up. And that's how it calculated my calories for the day. And I would do that. I think I did it for a week or two to see, how is my body responding? It's not so much, am I losing weight, but, how do I feel? Do I have energy through the day? Did I have energy to work out? How did I feel after I worked out? How was I sleeping? Like, all those things are going to play an important role. So as you start to, tweak your macros a little bit, how you feel is going to be the most important. That's going to tell your body, okay, is this good? Are we feeling good? Am I, on track? And two, like, how are your clothes fitting? Are they feeling snug and, not very comfortable? Or do you feel like, okay, my clothes are a little bit loose, or you like the way you're feeling, and it's not so much the number on the scale. So keep that in mind too. And I think everybody is a little bit different. Sorry about that. Daniel's macros were different than mine were. He was training harder, lifting heavier, like all those things. So that's going to play a role too, and kind of how you adjust. But definitely get a set amount, and you can put that in your MyFitness app, and it'll calculate it for you. And then everything that you enter in will calculate for you. So it makes it so easy. So let me just give you some examples of like good lean protein. And I'll drop these in our group too, so that everybody can see them. Okay. And these are plant foods. Of course, And I say that because there are people that don't want to eat meat. I get it, but don't think just because you don't eat meat, you can't get protein, because you can. So I'll share all these in there. But of course, chicken, steak, lean beef. We eat a lot of lean ground turkey, eggs, shrimp, fish.
Yeah. So think of all meats,
yes,
cheeses, eggs, and then you can switch over to like your legumes and all that, like your lentils, tofu,
chickpeas, black beans,
your
peanuts,
and whatnot.
Yeah,
but generally,
quinoa, that's really
for
good.
A short description and a quick understanding, all meats, cheeses, and eggs. I would think off the top of my head.
Greek yogurt is really great. Cottage cheese is really good.
Milk products,
So those are the ones that I love. Those were a staple. And now let's talk about carbs, because not all carbs are created equal. There are really great carbs that you can eat anytime, pretty much. There are some good carbs that you have to be careful on the timing, and then just some bad carbs that you don't even want to consume. Sugar, cookies, like soda, stuff like that. They're just empty calories. They do nothing for you. You might have a spike of energy from all the sugar, but you are going to crash. So great carb sources. Daniel probably really overdid this in his competition. Broccoli. He would eat broccoli a lot. Any kind of dark, leafy green vegetables, that's a good carb source.
No, I wouldn't list that as a carb source.
Yes, it is. Vegetables?
Yeah.
You need vegetables, you guys. This is a bodybuilder talking.
Put that in a carb source.
Then what is a vegetable?
Fibers, minerals, vitamins.
It's also a carb.
I mean, they have some carbs.
It is a carb with fiber.
They're so minute.
You need it. Your body needs it. You need the minerals. You need the nutrition. So yes. Now, talking good complex carbs.
Rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, anything you could think of. There'll be a carb made with flour.
Grains.
So you're talking about bread, tortillas,
But the good kind. You want to eat those,
so I was just listing
sparingly.
a couple things of what is a carbohydrate. Of course,
and fruit.
Anything with, the sugar is going to be...
Fruit's a carb.
Fruit has carbs in it. That is, the carb source. Now, the good ones that I would say are going to be anything from the earth is generally going to be really easy for your body to digest. And that's a crucial thing. How does your body utilize what you just put in? And so I'll tell you why sugar is so bad. The body doesn't actually recognize granulated sugar as something that it recognizes. It doesn't really know. So what it happens is it digests it really fast. It's got a really high glycemic index. So what that means is the glycemic index is how fast does your body break it down and use it. So sugar has the highest glycemic index of anything. And so what happens is if you're not using, like say you just got done working out, or say you didn't just get done working out, or you kind of had a lazy off day, you're not really going to want to eat sugar because that's absorbed really quickly. And unless your body can use it, it's going to store it. And so that is why it's important for the types of carbohydrates and the types of macros. How well does your body absorb it and utilize it? So the good things that's really easy on the digestive system and the body likes are going to be rice, potatoes, all those different variations, wild rice, sweet potatoes,
grains,
oatmeal, any sort of
quinoa.
grain. Those are things the body likes. And even every once in a while, I'll tell you this, bread is not that bad. It's not the best, but you can absolutely have, a sandwich and it's not going to hurt you. I'm not going to be the one that says you can't have, bread.
It's all in moderation.
You just don't want to overdo it. And if you did like bread, I would still say switch over to whole grain wheats. And the reason being is it contains a lot of fiber. What fiber does is it actually slows down that glycemic index. It slows down the digestive process. So what that means to you is even if it's not the best carb source in the world, at least the fiber slows down the process of breaking it down, and has the brain and the body has enough time to say, okay, we can do this with it, we can do that, we can do this, we can do that. that's the importance of having the fiber and stuff in there. Again, if we just have those simple sugars, super complex carbs, they're utilized and broke down very fast. So if the body doesn't have a need for it now,
it's going to store it.
The likelihood of storage is that much greater. So that's what I would say on that. And then, of course, fats are important. I think we all kind of know that now as times are changing. Fats are good. It's just that, again, it's like anything else. What kind? You know, and how much. So let me think.
I love almonds are a good fat source. Avocados are a very good fat source.
Yeah. Nuts, avocados, again, fats from meats aren't that bad. What you really want to stay away from is the oils. And the problem with that is it sounds easier said than done because so many producers of goods, like say in your pantry, are made with oils for many different purposes. So that's why you got to be careful with the fats that are in, you know, packaged stuff and stuff like that. But you don't need to stay away from fats completely by any means.
You just need the good kinds.
You just don't want
your
that.
Body will use
you don't want it to be the majority of your macro breakdown. You know, you don't want to be eating more fat than protein. And that's where, like where Tara was talking about, you know, the percentages. There's several different good percentages that work various different ways. You could do, say you want to start off fast, you could do like a 40-20, where you have 40% fat or 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat. But all this kind of depends on your activity level.
Yeah.
You got to consider that. So, but I think also a really good start is the one Tara said. What was it?
Like 30, 40, 30.
Yeah.
And that's like a base, and you can play with this too, like we said, and just see how you feel and see if you're noticing results. And if you're not, you can switch it up. A lot of people are very carb sensitive. Some people can eat a lot of carbs and they feel good and they train hard. And then other people do the low carb diet. Some people are doing the keto thing.
I want to simplify it real quick for you guys, because I could imagine if somebody was telling me this and I was listening to myself and like, oh my gosh, that's a lot more than I was thinking right now. I want to feel good. I want to lose some weight, but man, that sounds really difficult. One of the simplest things you can do, guys, is literally just clean up your diet. Clean up your diet and take the sugars out.
And fried food?
Yeah, I can. There's your oils there.
Yeah.
But if you were just clean up your diet by eating more earthly foods, and I say that so you can be creative. What do you like? I don't know. But earthly foods are going to be good, clean. The body recognizes and knows what to do with it. So you can just do that. Cut the sugar out as much as possible, whether it be from coffees to
there's a lot of hidden sugars too, and like sauces and condiments you wouldn't even think of, and a lot of things that say that they're low fat or fat free have added
the lower
sugars
the
in
sugar
them.
the lower the sugar intake a day, just the better you are in general, especially with individuals that are insulin sensitive or insulin resistant. You know, and what does that mean? That means how well does your body handle carbs? Does it like to use it for energy, or does it not? And it likes to store it because it can't do anything else with it. So that's why I say, like, if you clean up your diet, even if you ate more carbs than you should while you're starting this journey, even if you ate more carbs than you should, your body's more likely to use it than store it, simply because it's good, it's natural. The body likes to use it. And hey, it wants to store it in the muscles, not so much, and it doesn't really want to convert it into fat. That's just like the last resort that the body has to do with the calories if we're not doing the right things with them. So I want to keep it simple, clean up the diet. We can go into other things, but keeping it clean, number one, and getting your calorie count, figuring that out. So like I said, if you were naturally eating 3,000 calories a day on average, you know, bring it down to like 2,700. And how do you do that? I mean, you have to log. You got to know what you're eating. Yeah. And so everyone says, I don't want to log my calories. Well, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, like, I'm sorry, this is going to be almost almost impossible for the longer duration. Yeah, could you not? You could clean up your diet. You could start exercising and walking and doing all that, not counting a thing. And you're going to be feeling better and potentially losing weight. But really all that happened is you cleaned up your diet. I mean, and that's going to do the trick in the beginning, but your body likes to be in balance and in harmony, and it gets used to everything. You can think of so many different sorts of things. Your body just gets used to everything. So you got to keep it progressing. And so that's the importance of logging in and figuring out what you're eating, so that you can keep this process moving forward to reach your goal. Because what will happen in short is, say you ate 3,000 calories a day and you're like, hey, I'm going to eat 1,500 calories a day. You cut it in half and you're going to lose weight for probably 4 to 5 weeks. But then the body's going to figure it all out.
It's going to adapt.
And you're going to hit what that's called the plateau. And the body's going to learn how to use what you're eating and just get used to it. It's going to find that harmony and balance and say, hey, I'm used to this. I'm good. I don't need to do anything else. So that's where you'd come in and adjust things when you hit those plateaus, because we all do it. I do it. The body does it. It's just a natural subconscious body thing.
And you won't have to track your stuff forever. Like once you get a good idea, or maybe, once you've met your goal, you know what to eat, you know what to do. Like I'm not currently tracking every single thing I eat, but maybe I need to set some new goals and work on that. But anyways, it's not forever. It's just really until you kind of get the hang and know. And
with the MyFitnessPal, Ease Your Mind, in the beginning, you're going to have to search things and save them and add them and all that. But it creates a database of everything you put in. So if you eat something more than once, it's going to be in your database, and you'll literally just it'll pull up in like a drop down menu, and you just select it. And really that's it. So once you get your core foods in there that you eat over and over again, you don't have to go through and search.
It's not
everything
as time
again.
consuming.
You literally
it's
just
super
go click
easy.
the button, highlight it, select it.
Hi, Wendy.
And it really becomes super
Hey, Star.
simple.
Hi, Tina. Hey, guys, for jumping on. It's good to see you guys. Okay, so let's talk about timing. So I know on average, I think it's good for your metabolism to eat every 3 hours a day, so that like you put food in, you're working it off, your body starts to metabolize it, that you eat something else the next 3 hours, your body's using that, you start to metabolize it, versus there were times in my life when I'd eat one big meal a day. Like I'm just so busy not doing stuff, and then I eat all this food. Well, guess what? Your body's going to hold on to everything that you give it. So if you start eating multiple meals, maybe 5 small meals a day, and a snack somewhere in there, your body's going to start, like your metabolism is going to be revved up. And we hear this all the time when people start and they think, oh my gosh, that's like more food than I'm used to. I didn't know I was supposed to eat more food to lose weight, which that was me too. But they're like, I don't think I can eat all this. But then they notice you do that for a couple days or a week or so, your body's going to get used to it, and it's going to turn on that metabolism, and you're going to start getting hungry. Like in the people that didn't eat breakfast, they'd get up, do their 3 steps, and then ready to eat. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm just so hungry all the time. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. That's your body. That's your engine fired up. So I want Daniel to talk about the importance of like what you eat around your training.
Okay. So
like, what did you do? Just share what you did so people get an idea.
Okay. So number one, I'm going to tell you this, and this actually took me too long to understand and figure out in the beginning. But the energy that you're using for your workout today or your life today is not from what you ate for breakfast. It's what you ate yesterday. So you need to keep that in your mindset. And I had to adjust that too, because I would eat what I was supposed to eat the day before, and then I was going to have a really big workout, say today. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I need to eat extra carbs. It's going to be a big workout. I'm going to have all this stuff. But in turn, it takes a while for the body to break it down and then convert it to glycogen and then store it into the muscles. And so what you're using during your workout is carbohydrates. We'll keep it simple for that.
Stored carbs.
Well, in the bloodstream first. and then from the muscle stores. And then thirdly, when it needs, it'll pull from stored fat. So that's why it's important to remember, my body's using the energy
that's already in there.
That's already in there from the food I ate yesterday. So that's just
how long does it stay in your body?
It depends. It really depends on how fast your metabolism is going. And again, there's so many variables on what it was. Did you store it?
And this is a really good, I guess it just came to my mind that people that train fasted, like they're in a fasted state, they don't have food on their belly, but they are using up any bit of stored, what did you call it? Glycogen sources that are already in your body. But once that's used up and you've burned through it, now your body is going to pull from stored fat. So if you're somebody that wants to lose weight, maybe doing like a fasted workout in the morning where you just get up and do your workout first thing, you're going to burn off anything that's left, and then it's going to pull from stored fat. So, okay, then what about eating afterwards?
Okay, so
how soon after?
Within an hour. They call it the metabolic window. And that is where your body is in the state of wanting to recover from your workout. And it's going to be pulling from everything or whatever it's got to restore the muscle glycogen and to repair, all the broken fibers and whatnot from the workout. So the body is in that metabolic window for, I'm going to say, at the max 2 hours for a typical person. And so you're going to want to feed yourself in between that window. I say, for me, it's an hour, no more than an hour and a half. I like to be more safe than sorry. And typically I'm hungry anyway, so it makes it pretty simple. But you're going to want, in that meal after a workout session of whatever it may be, is going to be wanted to be protein and carbohydrates. That meal we want to get rid of. We don't want too many fats, because like fiber, I said earlier, it slows down the breaking down process of the nutrition, and you want your body to use it, uptake it is what the word I would use, as quickly as possible, and efficiently as possible. You don't want a whole lot of fat in there that's going to slow this process down, and potentially you still have, food left over outside of that metabolic window, if that makes sense. And then the body's like, well, crap, I'm kind of done using what I needed. I guess I'm going to have to store the rest of it. So, so you're going to want carbs and protein after training,
at least, an hour after. Split up, you're eating every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. And then what about like a cutoff time of food so that you're not going to bed with like a full stomach?
Yeah. So my general rule of thumb is going to be no carbohydrates after 7:30. And I know a lot of people say, well, we don't eat dinner until 8 o'clock. You're going to have to figure that out. So that, and even if that's the case, then no more carbs after dinner, and you don't want a huge helping or serving of it. Unless you just came from the gym. And again, there's a different variable.
Right.
But generally, you don't want to have carbohydrates
just sitting there
after 7, 8 o'clock, because what's going to happen is as you wind down for the night, and especially when you sleep, your body goes into a recovery mode, but it's much slower, much slower. So the likelihood, again, and I have to use that term because everybody's different, the likelihood of storage from those carbs to fat are much higher while you're not doing anything. So you're going to want to have, again, a general rule of thumb is having more of your bigger meals and carbohydrates earlier in the day. Just thinking of it that way, can make it very simple.
We keep shaking the table. It's like we're giving them an earthquake right there. Okay, so no carbs after 7. Try to eat early, unless work it around your schedule. If you normally don't go to bed till 2 o'clock, or you're a night owl, or you stay up late or whatever, just maybe 3 hours before bed. Cut it off.
I do want to tell you what I've done for years and works very efficiently. Same with the clients that I have as well. And so taking the example of not eating carbs after 7:30. So you could imagine by the middle of the night, your body has utilized any of the glycogen stores in your bloodstream. Okay. It's already either put it into the muscles for energy tomorrow, or it stored it as fat. So now you can figure you sleep all night long, and you say you get up at 6 a.m. That's 12 hours almost that you've not had any carbohydrates. So you could effectively call that a carb cycle, right? Because it's been about 12 hours. Now you get up and you do what I always do, what I implemented, and what I think is one of the best things you can do is you do that fasted cardio in the morning. And now it is fasted because you haven't had any of those carbohydrates in your bloodstream. So that workout in the morning is going to be the most effective at burning stored fat because, right, you have those 3 tiers of energy usage. So it's going to, when you go out for a run, it's going to pull energy from your blood first, and then it's going to pull, depending on this, the volume and how hard it is,
intensity,
it's going to pull from stored glycogen in the muscle or fat. And so when you are running very hard, say you were sprinting, right? It is going to pull everything from your blood and muscles first because it's the easiest to get to. Converting stored fat into energy is a longer process. I'm going to lose my train of thought. Dang it, I'm sorry. So that fasted cardio, in my mind, you're going to want it at that steady pace, right? Nothing like sprinting. Maybe a light jog or a vigorous walk, walking uphill, because that's the body says, I need energy, but I don't need it now. I don't need it right this very second. So now I know I can go ahead and pull from the stored fat. So that fasted cardio session, you have more likelihood of burning stored fat than any other time of the day. And you've effectively, carb cycled for the day, which is great because it resets everything. And the body doesn't have it all the time. So when it gets, it's like, ooh, yay, I get to use it for energy.
Yeah. I'll say I do love doing my fasted cardio in the morning. I take my Thrive capsules, and no matter how tired I am, I swear in 10 minutes, I am like, okay, ready to go.
And I know that can be difficult for some. And so there were some days where it's difficult for me too. So what I would do is I'd utilize a similar thing, just kind of backwards. I would do a little bit of cardio before I went to bed. And the reason I did that was just to ensure that I didn't have any carbohydrates sitting there in my bloodstream while I was sleeping at night.
Yeah.
So I just kind of did that in reverse. But the idea is to not have a whole bunch of calories and carbohydrates sitting in your bloodstream while you're sleeping. Yeah. Now, to add to that really quick, if you go to bed late, say 11, 12 o'clock, I know a lot of us do, I do, and your last carb meal was at 7, or you had dinner at 7, but it's been 4 hours and you're freaking hungry. It is okay to have a little bit of protein and amino acids before you go to bed.
That like a protein shake or something? Yeah. Like Wendy asked, she said she uses the ISO whey protein right after a workout. Is that good?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's the cleanest, effective protein there is, and the body will use it really fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a protein shake before bed is okay. So you just don't want the carbs sitting
you
because they're going to convert.
You can even have whatever leftover meat you had for dinner or something like that. So just it doesn't have to be a shake. It can be, a couple eggs. It could be, just don't have carbs. Don't have sugar. Don't have carbohydrates.
Daniel speaking when he's doing his bodybuilding competition and was literally starving all the time, pretty much. So, okay. So do you do your 3 steps before or after you do cardio? I take my capsules first thing all the time. I will sometimes put on my DFT. Sometimes I wait until after, but I always do my capsules first. I'll do my fasted cardio, and then I break my fast with my shake. So that's how I do it all the time. Yeah. So with or without the fasted cardio, I always do my 3 steps and then start my regimen. So, last thing, we're going to wrap up because we're already going over time. I knew we would. I want to talk about 3 plus line products that I really, really like that are going to aid in your weight loss journey. We've got some Thrivers that are on the 3 steps that they're like, okay, I'm doing my Thrive. I love it. I have energy. I feel good. What's something that I can add to just kick it up a notch? And for me, it is balance. I call these my flat tummy pills. They are amazing. They're so good for your digestion. They help with bloating. Just so good for your gut. And a lot of times people that are not losing weight, they could be eating good, exercising, all the things. If you don't have good gut health, it's going to be very hard for your body, for your gut to absorb the nutrients, to absorb what you're giving it. So it's almost like you're a hamster spinning on a wheel, but not getting anywhere. So you need to get your gut in check. So I take Balance every single night and I have for years, but you know, before Thrive, I struggled with my digestion. And I think maybe that was part of why I was like yo-yo dieting and always had trouble losing weight. So when I started Thriving, that definitely helped in that department. And I had some good, weight loss, but then I added Balance and it was like total game changer. I thought, where's this been my whole life? So I love the Balance. And then Biotic is another one that is good for your gut health. These are both going to tackle that issue of absorption. So those two, and then Rest. So Daniel, I know that's your favorite Plus Line product, so I'll let you share what that is.
Yeah. So it's just a combination of natural
Natural stuff.
Yeah, but what is it? It's got several different types of melatonin. Yeah, but in the natural source,
form.
the natural forms of it, so the body recognizes it a little more. And it again, it's got 5-6 different plant-based, earthly-based products that help aid
so
sleep.
Good, you guys.
But why do I suggest that? Because everything you do during the day is important, but sleeping and getting a good deep sleep for extended hours at a time is just as important. It's just super important. I get into the reasons why on many scientific levels.
Well, your body recovers while you're sleeping.
But it literally is super, super important for your hormonal balance, for your
cortisol
mind,
levels,
just absolutely everything.
All of it.
Just stick.
Sleep is so important.
Sleep is important. A lot of people don't pay enough attention to that. They say, I can't. We have every excuse in the world. And that's why I like Rest, because we all have very busy lives. And instead of before, when I found this, I might sleep 8 hours, but realistically, I was waking up, tossing and turning. You know, how many hours did I effectively get into that good REM sleep? Maybe a couple hours, realistically. So even in my busy days, I might go to bed late, say 12, get up at 6 or 7. At least I know when I do that, I got good sleep and I got a good 5 hours of hard, good sleep. Which even that is way better than the on and off cycle of waking up all night long and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I like the Rest. And I've always taken sleep aids for many, many years, I'll be honest.
But I'll say this one, there's a lot of them that, and I know anybody on here that has trouble sleeping that have tried them will say the same thing. You hate the way you feel when you wake up. Like you have a hangover. It takes you forever to wake up. You want to hit snooze 15 times. Rest is not like that. You feel so rested and so great when your alarm goes off that you're like, man, I actually got a good night's sleep. So it's so much better and it's natural. Sometimes I even just take like half a pack and it's good. So we can drop info on all of that, but those are just some, like 3 of my favorite Plus Line products. And then one last thing, and then I swear we're going to leave. One thing that I've added that I absolutely love, and I swear by this stuff, Daniel doesn't so much love it, is apple cider vinegar. That is like my go-to, because like, oh, my stomach hurts. You need some apple cider vinegar. Oh, digestion, apple cider vinegar. Heartburn, apple cider vinegar. Like there's so many natural uses for it. And it's so great for you. Also for your hair, skin, and nails, ladies, just throwing that in there. So that's something that I do. I'll do like 1 teaspoon in a hot little bit of water with some honey and lemon. And the benefits of that are amazing. Also for your immune system. So just going to throw that in there. Another one of my favorites. So that's it, you guys. We just wanted to share about macros. If y'all have any specific questions.
One little thing I want to add that I think would be really helpful.
Oh, you better be quick.
Yeah.
He says one.
So when we're talking about the gut health and digestion with the Balance and Biotic, I'm going to tell you that literally 90% of the world doesn't have a good digestive system. And so I just wanted to say, well, how do you know? In simplicity, for the average person, these 2 things will tip you off right now. If you are overly gassy and or gassy right after you eat your meal, right? And then second one, if you're not regular in the restroom. A typical good digestive system should honestly go twice a day, minimum. A perfect digestive tract will literally go to the bathroom almost every meal. And I know that sounds like a lot. Like I said, that's in the perfect scenario, but you should be going twice a day. So if you're overly gassy, and especially right after the meal, and you're not regular, those are two key things that you can say, okay, I need to work on that.
Yeah. I heard a quote from one of my good friends, Suzanne Pelzer, and she once said, if you're not pooping, you're not living. And that is so true.
Yeah.
So very, very important, you guys. I know it's like, oh, people don't want to talk about that, but we have to because, you know,
It's important.
we all do it. Some more than others. Okay, you guys, if y'all have any questions, let us know. We're going to be uploading this to our customer team page, our thriving page, and then our YouTube page. So if you have any other questions and we can help you in any way, let us know. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to cover next week. If you guys have maybe a suggestion or something you want to talk about, maybe we talk about some workout stuff, or maybe we can do a group workout. What do you guys think about that? Would y'all work out with us live or maybe like on a Zoom or something? I don't know. That might be fun. Okay. We love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day.